What's up, beautiful people? It's your girls, Leanne. We're getting blissed out with our Heart-Based Community Podcast Series number 17. Today, I am super lucky because I continue to elevate myself into receiving friends of mine from over maybe 2 decades right now. I have Asha on the other side. Hi, Asha.
Hey, Leanne. So happy to be here.
Yeah, with your beautiful goddess behind you. I remember that in yoga class, 2006.
I knew you'd appreciate her.
Yeah, great. And you have your beloved friend here, Quetza.
Hello, how are you?
Hi. So, audience, me and Asha have been friends. I first met Asha with a little heart note, see you soon, for her yoga class. It's a long time now. So that was 2006. And when that opened doors in my life from starting yoga at age 15, I had the ability just to follow my heart. And the heart note was the key ingredient to go in that direction. So that's how we met, and doing my yoga class with Asha was fabulous. Now she's out in Mexico, right, Asha?
Mm-hmm.
And we're
yes,
in
Playa del Carmen, Mexico is where I'm based, yeah.
Sorry, say that again.
Playa del Carmen is where I'm based in Mexico,
okay.
Quetza as well. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And, you know, from our journey, Asha, long journey, and now you're in the right place where you're integrating a next chapter in your life, doing tours with your dear friend. Why don't you guys just tell us a little bit about yourselves? And audience, there will be translation between English and Spanish so that our Spanish viewers have a chance to learn something also. But Asha has the ability to let us know more about their wonderful tours out in Mexico. So tell us a little bit about both yourselves, and then you can do the translations.
Okay. Well, maybe we'll start with Quetza, since you already introduced me a little bit through what you said. Ella quiere que tú habla un poco sobre quién eres y tu mensaje.
Hola, es un placer
Hi, it's a pleasure.
estar aquí con ustedes y poder conectar con la energía del norte.
It's a pleasure to be here with you and to connect with the energy of the north.
No, Canadá es un país que me fascina.
Canada is a place that fascinates
me
me.
imagino que hace mucho frío en este momento, ¿no?
And he imagines it's pretty cold in this moment.
Aquí pues siempre hace calor.
Here it's always hot.
Y bueno, yo soy oriundo de México, nacido en México.
He's born here in Mexico, Mexico City.
Y mi trabajo pues es el desciframiento de información de los templos sagrados, no solamente de la cultura maya, sino azteca.
And so his work, his spiritual mission has been to share the information of the Mayan temples, not only the Mayan temples, but the Aztec temples and the information that they carry.
Me he dedicado por más de 33 años al trabajo de la investigación y el trabajo chamánico.
And he's been doing this for more than 33 years, investigating. We're doing his shamanic work.
Caminando por todos los templos sagrados de todo Centroamérica, Sudamérica.
Traveling to all of the sacred sites and temples in South America, Central America.
Y hacer diferentes encuentros con las energías tanto de Egipto, Grecia, los celtas, los mayas, los incas, todas las culturas, crear una unificación cultural.
And encountering all the different tribes of the world, from Egypt and Greece and the Celts and the Celts and yeah, and unifying all these different indigenous cultures of the world, finding the unifying factors within them.
Y a través de esto, creando la geometría sagrada, uniendo códices, uniendo la simbología sagrada de todas estas culturas.
And through his travels, he has been creating, decoding the sacred geometry and the symbols encoded within all of these different places around the world.
Ese es mi trabajo principal.
That's his main work.
Me he dedicado a viajar por todo el mundo llevando este conocimiento.
And so he's been traveling the world, bringing wisdom, seeking wisdom,
Y enseñando un poco sobre la Universidad Chamánica Galáctica.
and he's teaching a little now. He's started a shamanic university here in Mexico.
Mm.
And he's
So I have
also
one-
doing his,
Sorry,
So
one,
go ahead,
one thing I
Dee.
was just going to interrupt you guys. There's something on the website also about the name given to him, meaning the king of the feather. Maybe you guys can talk a little bit about that.
puede hablar sobre tu nombre en tu página de web. Y dice tu nombre es el rey de la pluma y cómo.
Sí, bueno, Quetza es un nombre que me entregan en una montaña.
The Quetza is a name that he was given in a mountain.
O sea, mi historia es que yo desde que soy niño he sido un contactado
When he was a child, he started to be contacted
por los extraterrestres
by extraterrestrials, but Mayan extraterrestrials, Mayan spirits.
son los que me han guiado y los que me han llevado a hacer todo este trabajo espiritual.
And they're the ones who gave him this spiritual work that he's been doing.
Entonces me dan el nombre de Quetza,
They gave him the name of Quetza,
que representa el rey de la pluma,
which represents the king of the feathers.
y la pluma representa conocimiento, sabiduría.
The feather represents wisdom,
Y,
knowledge.
y soy un portador del conocimiento de estas culturas.
And so he is someone who brings and represents the culture of the feather associated with Quetzalcoatl, ¿no?
Sí, entonces Quetza me lo entrega un ser, un espíritu de América que representa el dios, que es Quetzalcóatl para los aztecas y Kukulcán para los mayas.
And so this name, he's connected to this spirit of Quetzalcoatl for the Aztecs, and the spirit, this being, it's a being really, is known to the Maya here in the Yucatan as Kukulcán.
Y cuando tengo 9 años de edad, me dice que me van a ir preparando, ¿no?
And when he was 9 years old, he was told by Quetzalcoatl that he's going to be prepared for something.
Y entonces empieza la aventura, ¿no? La aventura de por qué estoy contactado, por qué me contacto con estos seres extraterrestres y me empiezan a dar la enseñanza, el conocimiento.
And so that's when the adventure began for him when he was 9 years old, and he started to question, why are they contacting me? You know, what do they want from me? But little by little, he started to bring the wisdom and yeah.
Y entonces dice que Quetza daría la continuación de la información de lo que quedó pendiente en el pasado.
So they said to him that he is going to be continuing the work, now today, that the Mayans ancestors started in the past.
Unificando las culturas del Polo Norte al Polo Sur
Unifying the cultures of the North Pole and the South Pole.
y a través de ir contactando con estos puntos de energía,
And through contacting these different points of energy,
ir descifrando la información
he's bringing in the information
de lo que se ha quedado guardado en el ADN.
that contains and safeguards the DNA
En todos estos templos sagrados.
in all the sacred temples.
Todos estos templos tienen una información y una codificación matemática.
All the temples have a codification, mathematical codification.
Y a través de los equinoccios, solsticios, eclipses,
And through the equinoxes and the eclipses and the solstice periods,
es que se activan estas codificaciones.
these codifications are activated.
Y estas codificaciones activan nuestro ADN interno.
And those activations at the sacred sites during the solstices and equinoxes and so forth activate our own light bodies, our own sacred centers.
Ya que somos un universo en conexión con muchos sistemas solares.
We are like a universe unto itself, connected with many different systems.
Por ejemplo, Machu Picchu en Perú,
For example, Machu Picchu in Peru,
la frecuencia solar, la información solar es una programación.
the solar information that is there is a program.
Los Rapanuis en en Chile,
The Rapa Nui's tribe in Easter Island,
estos gigantes
the giant, big elongated heads in Easter Island.
también son seres que dejaron programación de el magnetismo del planeta.
They're also great beings who programmed the magnetism on the planet.
Y en México, por ejemplo, Chichén Itzá o Teotihuacán azteca,
And here in Mexico, for example, in Chichen Itza or in Teotihuacan, near Mexico City,
también dejaron codificación.
they also left codes.
Entonces, todos estos templos antiguos,
So all those ancient temples,
así como en Egipto, toda la información egipcia de Nefertiti, de Akenatón,
and just like in Egypt, with all the codification of Nefertiti and Tutankhamun,
todos estos dioses egipcios
all this,
se conectan con los dioses de América.
all of those gods and goddesses of Egypt were connected to the beings in the Yucatan and the Maya.
Y entonces todo es un gran mandala energéticamente.
So it's all a big energetic mandala on the planet.
Entonces estamos en los tiempos de activar la nueva frecuencia
So we're in the time when a new frequency is being activated
a través de la simbología
through the symbolism
y la matemática sagrada,
and the sacred mathematics.
con la danza, con el canto,
Through dance, through chanting and singing.
para estar conectado con la frecuencia del nuevo tiempo.
That's how we're connecting with the frequency of the new time.
Wonderful. There's so many wonderful details in there as we listen and we're able to absorb all of this great wisdom. I know it started at age 9. I don't know how old you are now, but it sounds like it's been a long journey of a lot of transformation. And for myself, while I'm listening, I can just see how lucky we all are, listeners, and on the receiving end of being the practitioner of sharing that vehicle of divine light and expansion. There's so much expansion in here, what I'm seeing. Asha, I think, sorry, you want to go ahead and say something?
I was just going to say, ella es diciendo que puede ver que hay un viaje largo de transformación para ti y como nosotros tenemos suerte para recibirlo, celebrate.
Yeah. I personally have a little bit of questioning from my own personal journey because I relate to all of it. And most recently in the last year, having a divine connection from all of those portals into Shiva Shakti in India, and that one of the oldest aspects. So I have some questions, if that's okay, to see if he's had any experiences with Lord Shiva and Shakti.
Es muy conectado a Shiva y Shakti de India y through Tantra as well, Leanne, no? Through the tantric work, and ella es preguntando si tiene conexiones con esa tradición.
Claro. Todos somos una tradición galáctica.
It's a galactic tradition, so yeah, we're all connected. That way.
Buda, Krishna, Mahoma, Quetzalcóatl, todas las culturas del mundo,
all the cultures of the world.
somos una sola cultura galáctica.
we're a galactic culture together.
Lo que pasa es que estamos en el tiempo donde se está activando lo que estaba dormido.
We're in a time when we're activating what was previously asleep.
Entonces, por ejemplo, Shakti, la energía que mueve, el yoga, toda esta filosofía
So for example, Shakti, the energy that we move in yoga, all of this philosophy
es una frecuencia,
is a frequency,
pero también la frecuencia de los chamanes, de los indios, que hemos conservado el conocimiento de esta cultura, pues hay una relación muy similar.
yeah, so all of the, the story of India and also with the Maya, it's connection, very important. I can speak to it a little bit too, if you'd like, Leanne, about the Shiva Shakti connection, because my passion is Yokhah Maya, which is a tradition that comes from the Maya in the Yucatan, and it's a form of shamanic Maya, shamanic yoga, rather, that I discovered with another Mayan teacher who Quetza knows also by the name of Hunbatsmen, who passed just a few years ago. And so within the teachings of Yokhah Maya, it's a Kundalini tradition. And so we have many similarities between the symbolism and even the sacred words in common in the Maya, with the Maya and Vedic Sanskrit. So the mantra of Om, for example, is in both cultures. The word chakra in Hindu is the same as chakla in Maya, the same concept. We have Kundalini in India, and in the Maya lands we have Kultanlini. And what I've recently pieced together around the history that I'm super excited about and I'm starting to write about right now is what Hunbatsmen taught me many years ago, 30 years ago, and I'm really just putting it together now in my consciousness, is that the origins of yoga on the planet actually began in Atlantis. In the, going back to like 9500 BC, the Atlantean solar culture and the wisdom of the serpent is where the tradition of Kundalini yoga and working with the energy, the frequency of the sun originated. And so the history is really completely different. It's kind of mind-blowing because what we're learning now, what Hunbatsmen passed on through the oral tradition of the Maya and what archaeologists are now discovering about the antiquity of the Maya is that this culture that was completely different, a different beings, not even necessarily human, more like extraterrestrial beings came from Atlantis, or more hybrids, I would say, human extraterrestrial hybrids, came from Atlantis when Atlantis was sinking and being, sort of self-destructed. And to preserve the knowledge of yoga, of the solar culture, of all the sacred wisdom, they brought it to the Maya lands of Mexico, to the Yucatan of Mexico. The Mayan people were already there, but these emissaries came from Atlantis and they were very advanced. Lord Itzamna and his female counterpart Ishel were considered gods and goddesses to the people of the Maya because they had advanced knowledge of astronomy and astrology and healing and medicine. And they are the ones who taught them how to build the great pyramid centers. And so this tradition of Yokhah Maya, shamanic yoga, was created or practiced during this time many thousands of years ago in the Yucatan. And when the spiritual center of the Yucatan, as a magnetic center on the planet, was beginning to wane after many thousands of years, then again the solar priests prayed and they did rituals and ceremonies to ask the creator, where is the next magnetic center, spiritual center on the planet going to be? And they were told it would be India and Tibet. So going way back in pre-Vedic times, thousands of years ago in India, before our historical tradition of yoga begins there, the Maya traveled to India and Tibet and deposited the solar wisdom, and along with it, this information about Shiva Shakti, but in the Maya tradition, this is Kukulkan, the feathered serpent. When the serpent rises from the root chakra up the sushumna, up the central column of the spine, and becomes one, Shiva and Shakti become one in the third eye, and then we have the experience of enlightenment. To the Maya, this is when the serpent rises and gains its wings so that it can fly in other dimensions. So it can be multidimensional. So it's very much the same concept. And this concept was actually brought to India and Tibet by the Maya, where they were known as the Nagamaya, the keepers of the wisdom of the serpent. And so we have many references to Maya, Mother Maya, and the mother of the Buddha was Maya, and then the Nagamaya, the serpent tradition. Of course, I know you know that, Leanne, is huge in India. So this is what I'm piecing together now about all of this, is that the origins of yoga are actually extraterrestrial in origin and come from Atlantis through Mesoamerica, the Yucatan, and India and Tibet.
And I'd like to highlight something here because I've had a lot of experience with this in at least the last decade, because of portals opening in me. And I want to give a highlight to our listeners. When we use language, and the language that we're using, which can sound uncomfortable because of what mainstream media is giving you an idea about, it's more important that you be present with this knowledge and have a personal experience with yourself. Because for me, when I was having a natural connection through yoga starting at 15, coming into actually being able to hear my inner guidance, by the time I had awakening at 19, this journey in engaging with other people and people outside of me was part of a journey to look outside of me, because this is where we were trained in the reality in school. When I did the yoga, and yoga put me looking within, and then further many masters finding me, I want to remind the listeners, the language that we are sharing and these gifts come from listening within. And then the words, because of the idea in the mind of positive, negative on words like extraterrestrial, like anything that's not normal to what human is, can be very uncomfortable in language. But personally, I want to reflect, because I really feel that this is a right time to give that gift, is when I come into a state of samadhi in yoga, and I'm receptive to the all-pervading source energy, which is nothing, which is a void, and then in creation, Shiva Shakti, which we can call it that, or we can call it the Mayan and whatever the languages and the names are for nothing. We come into experiencing light in new ways. So when we use words like extraterrestrial, we have to understand they are light beings, of which light emanates through creation of fire, air, earth, water, and ether. And this is just a highlight for our listeners to have that awareness when I'm speaking so profoundly on topics with Asha and her beloved friend here. I want to be able to say, this is why we're introducing such beautiful tours to connect with such beautiful people, because they've done the work in helping you to get within yourself, to have a journey with yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's beautifully spoken, Leanne, because Quetza's message always is to connecting spiritually. Para conectar con tu espíritu es algo muy simple. It's something very simple. It doesn't have to be complicated, and sometimes we make it overly complex, and things get in the way, like language, for example, and cultural references. And so what I refer to as non-terrestrial beings, someone else might say, well, they're interdimensional beings, and someone else might say they're spirits, they're great spirits, and someone else might say they're gods and goddesses. To me, it's all part of the same package now. And all of these great beings have influenced humanity in various ways in different cultures in humanity because, oops, we are humanity as one. We are the human family. And so these teachings, of course, are universal. And of course, it's universal that we all have chakras. The Egyptians worked with chakras. The Indians worked with chakras. The Mayans worked with chakras. The Cherokee worked with chakras. Why? Because it's something that is universal. It's part of our light body. It's part of our experience of being human. So yeah.
So good. And I just felt like that's important to reflect because we're giving an opportunity to come and learn, to come and share. And the more that we share, the more we get together, the happier we'll be.
Más que podemos compartir, más feliz que estamos.
Claro, mientras más felices, más integrados, ¿no?
And the happier we are, the more integrated we are.
Yo creo que mientras nuestra paz interna se manifieste cada día con más fuerza,
This internal peace that manifests every day with more force,
estaremos en la contemplación de los nuevos tiempos.
is we're in contemplation of the new times through this peaceful inner being.
Porque estamos en un momento muy fuerte a nivel mundial.
We're in a very strong moment on the planet. It's an important and intense moment on the planet.
Y los cambios de la geometría sagrada y el movimiento del planeta
And the changes in the sacred geometry and the movements of the planet,
pues todo ha cambiado.
everything's changing.
Ya no es lo mismo que hace 2000 años.
It's not the same as it was 1,000 years ago.
Es un tiempo distinto totalmente.
It's a distinct time completely.
Es un momento de cambiar toda la estructura del pasado y crear una estructura nueva en el presente.
It's a time to let go of all of the structures of the past and to create new structures for this time.
Porque esa es la manera de ser tú.
This is the way to be
No
of your
ser,
inner being.
no ser Buda o Krishna o Quetzalcóatl.
You don't have to be a Buddha or a Krishna or a
Es
Quetzalcoatl.
ser tú.
It's your being.
Eres tú la manifestación del nuevo tiempo.
You are the manifestation of the new time.
Mientras tu corazón esté lleno de creencias,
Your heart is full of,
no eres libre como el sol.
it's not free like the sun.
I think that we can have regular talks. I think it's good that you guys have a fountain of information that actually the Western culture can feed off of and be able to explore. Let's talk a little bit about the tours because there's only so much time that we have. And I think we'll focus on that and then we'll welcome you guys back to having more discussions. So let's talk about your tours. So tell me a little bit about the tours right now.
Well, the tours are coming up. Actually, our first tour starts Monday coming up for the winter solstice, December 20th. And they're 3-day tours, and we have one every month from now through till the end of March. And these tours begin in Playa del Carmen, Mexico, and we travel to 3 different pyramid centers, ceremonial centers of the Maya over the 3 days. And then we return again to Playa del Carmen. And while we are visiting these pyramid centers, Quetza is going to be leading the group in ceremonies and activations of their light bodies. So we'll be doing work with sound, with mantra, with meditation, with breath work. And of course, we'll be working with the frequency of the sun because this is considered essential to the spiritual work for the Mayan people to utilize the frequency of the sun to activate our own spiritual being. And so Quetza is going to be leading and doing activations for the people who come on these tours. Do you want to, ¿quieres decir más sobre los tours?
Sí, bueno, la intención de estas iniciaciones que realizamos cada mes
The intention of these initiations that we're doing every month
es reconectar con nuestro espíritu desde estos templos antiguos.
is to reconnect with our spirits through these ancient temples.
Si nosotros nos conectamos con la frecuencia del presente, aquí y ahora,
We are going to be connecting with the frequencies that are present here and now.
nuestro ser interno va a abrirse.
So that our internal being can be free, be liberated.
La diferencia de hacer un camino sagrado consciente
The difference between doing a sacred journey with consciousness, consciously,
la forma de cómo respiras y cómo conectas con tu corazón.
the difference is the way that you breathe and the way that you connect with your heart.
Y que estás dispuesto para conectar con estos espíritus del sol y de la luna que te esperan.
And so through this, you have an opportunity to connect with the spirits of the sun and the moon that maybe you've lost.
Puedes hacer un viaje turístico, tomar
So,
fotografías
so in a way, it's a tourist tour where you can take, photographs on one level.
y explicarte un poco de la historia de los mayas.
And we'll be explaining a little bit of the story of the Maya, the cosmic Maya.
Pero se trata de conectar con la frecuencia del nuevo tiempo.
But the intention is to connect with the frequency of the new time, of the new
¿Y
age.
cuál es el beneficio? Mover toda tu estructura cósmica.
What is the benefit? You're going to move all of your cosmic structure, all of your form,
Porque el cambio es en un instante.
because the change is in an instant.
El cambio no es mañana, es
It's-
aquí y ahora.
It's not happening tomorrow. The change is happening in the now moment, here and now.
Entonces los invito a caminar en esta transformación interna
So we invite you to walk this internal transformation,
para activar nuestra visión interna.
to activate your internal vision.
So good. I want to thank you both for your time. I want to thank you both for your dedication to the path and the mystery that was revealed to you within you, and being able to walk that humbly and not give up.
Thank you, Leanne.
Yeah, because I didn't give up on this friendship either, my beloved Asha.
Never. How are we
Never.
gonna how are we gonna get you down here for a tour, Leanne?
Well, we'll work on just getting through the 300 hours, and audience, stay
Yeah.
tuned. There's more coming with that, but there's so much in every moment. Even study right now about going back into the nadis and then going into how I can help more people come into that finer Kundalini rising by just breathing. And there are simple things, simple mudras, simple gestures of just being available. Just
Yes.
show up and be available.
Yes, this is the most important thing. I don't know if I told you the story when you did your training with me years ago, but Swami Kripalu, who was the Kundalini master who seeded Kripalu Yoga, when he was asked, what is the one most important practice that I can do that will transform my being and lead me to enlightenment? And he answered right away, pranayama. Nothing more, alternate nostril breath. Just practice alternate nostril breath every day. It will transform your being, and eventually you will become enlightened. So yes, it's very simple, really.
It is. It's simple. And you're both beautiful. I'm so grateful for both of you. I will have this posted, and listeners, we will put links to their website. If you have any questions, feel free to connect with both of them. And if you're speaking English, make sure you connect with Asha, or if you're speaking Spanish, you can connect with Quetza. Quetza, Sha. Okay.
Oh, he's getting really good with Google Translate. So even if you don't speak Spanish, you can write to him in English and he'll plug it into Google Translate, and yeah, no problem.
Let's keep evolving. Let's keep our intelligence rising, because we are eternal. Much love to both of you, and see you both very soon.
Thank you. Mwah.
Thank you.
Namaste.
Oh, namaste.